Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree. He sang as he watched and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
G'day guys, it's Shane with the Backyard Bushman channel, and again I'm in my front yard before I get to getting it all down. And anyways, looking at a couple of wild edibles. Just did a video on dandelion, and I wanted to do a video on plantain, which I have to say, guys, is an incredibly important plant to know. Very, very valuable, wild edible, because this again is an internationally found plant. It's found just about everywhere. It's really easy to identify, and I have to say that out of all the wild edibles out there, broadleaf plantain is one of the most useful. So give me a second. Where'd he go? Alright guys, you see these flowers here? That's a very telltale sign, and what we have at the bottom of these flowers here is we have some narrow leaf plantain. Okay, this isn't the broadleaf version, which I have just a couple of feet away. But first of all, the flowers that you find on the narrow leaf plantain are one of the key ways to basically know what's there. They stand very straight. Very erect, basically. They have a long stalk, and this very telltale flower on the end. Oh, here we go, filming all over the place. Now if you look at the leaf, it's much like the broadleaf plantain, except the narrow leaf plantain is, of course, narrow leafed rather than broad. There we go. Now one thing that the narrow leaf and the broadleaf plantain have in common is they have these very fibrous strands through the leaf there. You'll see that right there. Okay. So that, coupled with the flower, the telltale, standing straight erect flowers, basically is the easiest way to tell if it's indeed a plantain. Now let me grab a broadleaf real quick. I'll show you what those look like. Here we go. And they're down in the mix here. Now again, let me grab this here. Where are we at? There we are. You'll see that flower there. It's a little different to the narrow leaf plantain. We got some more over here. Excuse the shoddy film work, guys. I'm working with the camera with the tripod on it. At any rate, and that's a bit lower than the other ones, but that is the telltale flower for the broadleaf plantain. Now, if you let me just dig in here, I'll grab a leaf out of there. Let me find a good one. This is the patch I have in my front yard, but it gets mowed over, of course, every time I do the lawn, so it's not too big or anything. I'll pull that up. There you go. And that, guys, is your broadleaf plantain. You'll notice if I flip it, it's really easy to see those fibrous strands that it has, and it's very, very similar to the narrow leaf plantain, except of course it's broadleafed. These are in no way related to plantains, which are the banana relative. Again, these are a very, very common plant, otherwise known as a weed, that grows across the world, and most people strive to get rid of them, but I have to say that they're incredibly useful. They're completely edible. Just pop them right in your mouth. But plantain, and I mean both the broadleaf and the narrow leaf, I haven't been able to discern whether there's any real difference, and as best I can tell, there's really not, medicinally and nutritionally. But they're super good to put in a salad. They taste a lot better than dandelion, in my opinion. They're not so much of an acquired taste, but medicinally, the plantain, it's just incredible, the amount of medicinal uses that this plant has. Okay, you can make it into a tea, decoction. You can turn it into a poultice. You can use it just as this. You can heat it and then wet it, or whatever you want to do. It makes really great dressing. Helps with hemorrhaging. Helps with digestive problems, including irritable bowel syndrome. Which is a good one for me. I believe that you can use it in certain fashions to get rid of things like worms, hemorrhoids, all kinds of silly stuff. Helps clear up your diarrhea and whatnot. I know that it can work really well for respiratory issues. It's just an incredibly, any kind of skin problem, inflammations, burns, whatever. The other day I got out there and my little boy is only 9. He got into some stinging nettles and it was bugging him, and I just chewed up one of these leaves and rubbed it on his arm and it was gone. But broadleaf plantain, it's my opinion and the opinion of a few other people that it is the #1 most useful wild edible, medicinal plant that you can learn. If you learn anything, this is the one you want to learn, because it's everywhere. It's really easy to identify. Let me grab one of those flowers here. She's got plenty on there, and it's just incredibly useful. There's the flower, guys. Big long stem on it, no multiple heads or anything like that. As with the dandelion video, what I will do, guys, is I'll just put a list at the end here, showing you the most common uses of the plantain. But I really encourage you to, as with any kind of medicinal herbal plant, I really encourage you to go out and research it yourself, and you'll be just astounded at the amount of uses that this plant has. So once again, guys, that's a plantain. We got the broadleaf in there. We have the narrow leaf over here, growing side by side basically. I hope that's been helpful. It showed you how to identify them and given you an idea just how valuable these plants are. But I'd like to say thanks for watching. This is Shane with the Backyard Bushman channel. And I hope you stay tuned. There'll be more videos on the way. See you next time, guys.
You'll come a waltzing, Matilda.